The engine coughed to life like it had something to say. Dust swirled around the tires as the sunlight pierced through the cracks in the old barn. No one had touched the pickup in nearly 2 decades. Its paint was faded, the chrome dulled, and the smell of old leather still clung to the cab like a memory refusing to leave. It was a 1971 Dodge D100, and for most people, it was just another relic buried in time. But in 2026, that same truck was the beginning of something no one saw coming. It started with a single post. A man from Arkansas filmed himself pulling the truck out of his grandfather's barn, brushing off the cobwebs, pouring fresh gas into the tank, and cranking it up. He didn't say a word in the video. He didn't need to. The truck did all the talking. The video went viral within hours. There was something hypnotic about the rawness of it all. No fancy transitions. No music. Just the creak of old metal, the turn of a key, and that unmistakable rumble that echoed across generations. What followed was a wave no algorithm could have predicted. Thousands began searching for old pickups in their families. People called uncles they hadn't spoken to in years, asking if the old farm truck was still parked out back. Junkyards were raided for parts. Garages became sanctuaries. And slowly, steadily, the world began to remember something it had forgotten. In the far reaches of Montana, a teenage girl named Elsie found a 1966 Chevy C10 buried under hay bales in her family's cattle ranch. It was her great-grandfather's, a man she'd only heard stories about. She didn't know how to drive a stick shift, but she knew she had to bring it back. With the help of YouTube tutorials and a few calls to her grandpa, she rebuilt the engine. It took her 9 months. When she finally drove it to school, the entire parking lot turned silent. Not because the truck was loud, but because it was real. In a sea of quiet EVs and leased compacts, the C10 stood like a monument. She wasn't just driving a truck. She was driving heritage. In Lahore, Pakistan, a mechanic named Arif had made a life out of fixing motorcycles. He had never worked on a 4-wheeled machine in his life. But when an old Bedford J5 was towed into his workshop, everything changed. The truck had been sitting in a village courtyard since the early 80s. The engine was seized. The frame was rusted. No one believed it could move again. But Arif did. Piece by piece. With parts scavenged from nearby scrapyards and improvised engineering, he brought it back. It wasn't shiny. It wasn't showroom ready. But when it rolled out of the garage under its own power, the entire street clapped. People climbed into the bed just to feel the hum of something built to last. Across the Atlantic, in a quiet corner of Portugal, a retired architect named João found himself restoring a 1958 Land Rover pickup with his grandson. The truck had once belonged to his father, used to carry bricks and cement to build the very house João was born in. For years, it sat in the back garden, half covered by a tarp. When João's wife passed away in early 2026, he and his grandson began work on it as a distraction from grief. What they didn't expect was how the truck would give them something to look forward to. They spent long evenings sanding down panels, fitting in wires, sharing stories. It became more than a project. It became a bridge. In cities overwhelmed by sleek electric cars and digital dashboards, people were craving something they could touch, hear, smell.